Bro, life has never been so easy. You can eat what you want when you want. You have unlimited entertainment at your fingertips. And the best part is, you don't even have to put in that much work to get it. All you need to do is open up a laptop, unlock your phone, and then once you've unlocked your phone, you go on an app, order whatever food you want, and it comes to your doorstep. It's easy, yet everyone is unsatisfied, everyone's unhappy. And the reason for that is because we're not built for abundance. Like, think back to our caveman times. Back in those days, resources were scarce and conditions were harsh. We didn't have a choice but to chase. We had to chase more. It ensured our survival. Sometimes we'd go out on a chase and we'd come back empty-handed. Other times we'd go out on a chase and we'd come back with more than we could carry. In that case, you'd have a feast, or in other words, you'd overindulge. But times like that were rare. It's whenever you went out and managed to catch a deer or an ox. For the most part, resources were scarce and we became wired to chase. We didn't have any other choice. Chasing ensured our survival. But the world today is different, yet we're still the same. Unlike the past, where we had to struggle for the bare minimum, where we kept having to chase more, that's how we survived. In today's world, we have abundance. Like, we're not struggling for the bare minimum. We already have that. We have more than that. We live in a world where we can overindulge, which used to be a rarity, on a daily basis, and we don't even need to chase for it anymore. But that's the issue. We don't crave the overindulging, or we don't crave a reward. We crave the chase. We still want to chase. We still need to chase. That's what our brain became wired to do. We became wired to chase. But that's what we're lacking. Like, most people today think the reward is what they want, but it's not. What they want is the chase. Like, think about it. The idea of getting something is always better than the moment you actually get it. The idea of getting a new car is better than the moment you get it. Or like, I just ate a piece of chocolate, 90% dark chocolate, I don't eat anything less. The idea of me eating that was better than the moment that I actually ate it. And I personally think it's because the chase is so quick, we lack the difficulty. Like, if we had the anticipation of a reward, we had a lengthened chase, and then we got the reward, I think the reward would be much more satisfying. But today, the chase is so quick, you get the thing quick, and you'd think that means you'd scratch the itch quick, but that's not how it works. What you were actually craving was the chase, then the reward, not the anticipation, skip the chase and get the reward. It's just too quick. Your brain expects a process of chasing. That's how anticipation builds, working for something and then getting a reward makes a reward that much more satisfying. In today's day and age, you don't have that. So you're still left feeling unsatisfied and unfulfilled. And what does that lead to? Overindulgence. And that's what makes you obese. That's what made me obese. I became obese because I was dissatisfied with life and I didn't understand why. Like, I could get what I want whenever I wanted. And I did. And that's what made me obese. Like, I'd binge eat food and I'd binge watch shows, but I still felt empty. I still felt like something was missing. So I thought the answer was more reward. All that did was make me more overweight, more obese, and it made me feel worse and worse. Like, everyone thinks it's the reward that they want, and I thought the same. That's why I kept eating more, I kept consuming more, I kept seeking the reward. I kept getting the reward as well because it's so easy to get nowadays, like I was saying. And as I was saying, it's not the reward that we want. It's the combination of the anticipation, a lengthened chase, and then the reward. So what I thought would make me better, the reward or consuming more, did the opposite. The more I consumed, the less satisfied I became, and that spiraled out of control. I kept gaining weight and I kept feeling worse. And that's the problem with instant gratification. Instant gratification means getting what you want when you want it. Like a reward without the chase. What we've been talking about this whole time. And that's our natural default because it makes sense. Like, I think back to the caveman times I was on about. Back then, times were hard. And like I said, overindulgence was rare. So we had to conserve energy. We had to maximize the reward whilst minimizing the chase, because that meant saving calories whilst consuming as much as we could in order to store more energy, hoping that meant we'd have energy to survive tomorrow. But today's world, like I said, is completely different. Convenience has replaced struggle. Instant gratification in the past was rare, but today it's commonplace. It's an impulse built for a completely different environment, an environment that we don't live in anymore. So the only way to remedy that is by augmenting our environment to the environment that we were designed to live in. And the best way to do that is by creating a chase for yourself. And that's where delayed gratification comes in. So instant gratification is getting what you want when you want it. Delaying gratification is getting what you want after you put in some work. And you do that on all levels, from the little rewards on a day-to-day basis to the bigger rewards. Like for example, I have to walk 6,000 steps before I have breakfast, or I have to do 3 to 4 hours of deep work before I have my first snack of the day. That bit of work before the reward is just another word for the chase. It's different to how it was in the past. I'm not running about with a spear, but I'm still chasing a reward. I'm still working for the reward. It's just in a different day and age. Like a laptop has replaced the spear. So like I was saying before, it was instant gratification that made me obese. But the other thing that made me obese was overindulgence. So I like to add on top of delayed gratification. I call it restricted delayed gratification. You anticipate a reward, chase it, that's the delayed gratification part, and then get the reward. The restricted delayed gratification part is restricting the size of the reward. You anticipate, chase, then get the reward, but that reward is restricted in size by you personally. And by doing that, you're going to train yourself to stop overindulgence. So another example outside of food is entertainment. In the past, I used to binge watch shows all the time. Like I'm pretty sure years ago, I watched the first 7 seasons of Game of Thrones in 5 days. That's just fucking ridiculous. So for me, I don't want to watch TV shows anymore. I don't want to fall back into that habit. So the only entertainment that I have on a day-to-day basis is books and podcasts. The one thing outside of that is a movie. So for me, I have to put in a week's worth of work to feel like I deserve to watch a movie on a Sunday evening, a single movie. That's delaying gratification in the long term. I could watch a movie every night, but I'm not. I'm delaying that gratification once a week instead of once a day. And I'm also restricting the size of the reward. On a Sunday evening, I could go ahead and watch 3 movies. That's called overindulging, but I'm not. I'm restricting the size of the reward. I'm trying to correct my behavior. I've already corrected the instant gratification part by delaying gratification. Now I'm trying to correct overindulgence by restricting the size of the reward by watching a single movie. But restricting the size of the reward varies scenario to scenario and from person to person. So I'm not asking you to suddenly go from binge watching TV shows to watching 1 movie a week. I'm not asking you to go from eating 5 chocolate bars a day to none at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, say you're eating 5 pieces of chocolate a day, restrict that to 3, and before you have those 3 pieces of chocolate, go for a half an hour walk. Restrict to delayed gratification. And over time, as you find different areas to do that in different aspects of your life, you're going to reverse boredom, unfulfillment, and obesity. Because you're satisfying the natural order of things, the order that your brain is wired for. Anticipation, chase, reward. Like it's a simple solution, it's applying it that's hard. It's applying it that takes time and practice, failure and coming back from it. But it's the only option. If you don't put an end to instant gratification and overindulgence, you're just going to bury yourself deeper and deeper. And you're going to come across more videos like this, listening to guys like me who were in the same hole that you're in and have managed to climb themselves back up. And now we're trying to get you to do the same.